Well, hello and welcome to Alamance County Talks Politics. Today, early voting ended in Alamance County. So today we have from the Alamance County Board of Elections, we have the voting tally. We have the total number of registered voters in Alamance County who cast their vote early. And right now, that's what we're going to look at. So let's turn our attention here now to the Alamance County Board of Elections early voting calculations here on this spreadsheet. And I've showed you this before, but let's scroll on over to the right here. And we're going to show you the ending of the early voting time period. And you can see that in Alamance County, among registered voters, 65,008 people cast their ballot early. Now, if my math is right, someone told me there was like 119,000 people registered voters in Alamance County, and we have 65,000. I believe that is a little bit more than 54%, almost 55% of the registered voters in Alamance County have already cast their ballot during the early voting time frame. So with that being said, that's pretty good turnout, especially in Alamance County. One other thing I want to look at is the same day registrations. And as you look at that and we scroll all the way to the right, you can see that 2,270 people registered the same day, and I guess they voted on that. I would assume they would vote at that same period. So you have 2,270 people who registered to vote in this election and vote early. Now, I'd like to know, I think that number is fairly significant, and I'd like to know what motivated them to vote early, to take the time to go in there and register and to vote early. What issue was it that was really burning them that caused them to say, hey, I've had enough. I want to go vote. I mean, which side, whether Republican or Democrat, what were the major issues that prompted you to vote early and to register and vote early? Now, let me mention one more thing here. One of the points that I'd like to look at is the voter turnout at each of the 5 early voting centers. Now, as we know here, the biggest vote getter, or the one that was attended the most, voted the most, was the Graham Recreation Department. It was first. It had a little over 16,000. The second one was the Mebane Arts and Community Center, I believe they call it. It had 15,000. Now, I'd already recorded this video one time because I automatically assumed that I knew who the third place vote getter was going to be. I automatically assumed it would be this one right here, and that one is the Coronado Center. But if you look here, the third largest attended place early voting was the Elon. So you have Graham, you have the Mebane, then you have Elon, and then you have the Coronado Center. The reason I assumed Coronado Center was because I'd been over there and I'd seen the lines. I mean, I was surprised a little bit that Elon ended up having more early votes before than the Coronado Center. But in the fifth place is the Elmira Community Center. So that gives you a little rundown as far as how the early voting took place. Now, we all know that Tuesday is the last day for voting, November the 5th. So if you have not voted, let me encourage you to do so. But before I close this, let me show you one more thing that I think is important for you to do. Let me encourage you to go to the Alamance County Board of Elections website. This is it right here. You can see they've even got the new building where they moved into a former bank. Sheets and Graham, I think, is back here. Yeah. So you go to the Board of Elections in Alamance County, go to that website, and then scroll down here to the sort of towards the bottom, and you'll see this NCSBE Voters Search Tool. I want you to click on that. And the reason I want you to click on that is because it will take you to this screen here. And you will enter your first name, not the name they call you that may not be your real name. Enter your real name as it's registered. So enter your full name, middle initial, last name, the date of your birth, and you can click here. I'll show you Alamance County because we live in Alamance County. Then you hit search. And once you search, this is a very interesting tool because if you've already voted, that's great. But if you've not voted, if you do this, and you key this information in, it will show you the precinct. It will show you where you should vote. In fact, they've got a hyperlink down there. When I did it for mine, I saw a hyperlink of the place where I was supposed to vote. I could click on that, and I think I didn't click on it, but I'm assuming it would show me a picture or some type of image or give me information on where it's at. But it told me. I knew exactly. I thought, wow, it's got the name right there. So That's one of the reasons you want to use it. Secondly, you want to see if you have you want to see the sample ballot. One of the interesting things there is they've got a little, it's blue, I believe it is. It may be a different color, but I believe it's like this color here, this blue or whatever color that is. I call it blue, maybe an aqua, a little light. I don't know what color it is. Who cares? But it's something like that. And it's got a link to it. You click that link and it will open your sample ballot. That way, when you go to when you go to your voting location, and it will show you what your ballot should look like. So it hopefully will be less intimidating. You already know what the ballot's going to look like, and so it should be very, very easy to follow. So let me encourage you to use that also. And let me one more thing that you could do. If you scroll down to the bottom of that, it will show you um, your voting record. And let me give you an example of mine. I scrolled down to the bottom of mine and it showed me that I had voted in this most recent election. It showed me the date that I'd voted. It showed me that I'd voted early in person, early vote in person, I think it said. And so it gave me the information. And it said something at the bottom that validated to let me know that my vote had already been counted. So if you voted already, let me encourage you to go to this Alamance County Board of Elections website, use this and look to make sure that your vote has been cast, that it is, that the information there is correct and accurate. If you voted early and it said, or let's say you voted mail in, or I'm not sure what it would say, but if it doesn't match up with the way you voted, like I voted early in person, mine said early voter, something like that, and in person. So it tells you, and so I corroborated that information with how I'd voted, and it was correct. And it also showed me a history of my votings as well. So it's a neat tool to use if you haven't ever used it before. So let me encourage you to do so. There's one more thing that I want to tell you. I know everybody who has already voted, this information is moot at this point. But those of you who are going to vote on election day, there is a constitutional amendment for mine. It was on the bottom right hand side. But you'll want to read that constitutional amendment, because basically what it's saying is that you believe that only, and it lays out there, but you believe that only American citizens who meet certain qualifications of citizenship should be able to vote. In other words, you're basically saying if they're not a citizen, they should not be able to vote. So I'm one who believes that only citizens should vote in any election. So I voted for this constitutional amendment. So if you believe that only citizens should be voting in this election or any election in North Carolina, you need to vote for that constitutional amendment. So I hope this information was helpful. We'll hang around until November the 5th. I'll try to post a few things in between and even during that time. But anyway, this is Alamance County Talks Politics. Until next time, take care.